Hey guys, it's Bia here, and today we're back with another video. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make Tule gloves. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I've seen online quite a lot of people with these types of gloves, and I feel like it's a bit of a trend right now. So I'm going to be making it for you so you know how to do it and how to easily do it as well, and also how to not make very easy mistakes, which I made in the attempt of making the sleeve. So essentially, I'm going to prevent you from making my mistakes and from ensuring, oh my god, and I'll make sure that you ensure that you do it correctly first time round, because I wasted some time making sure this is correct just for you guys. So yeah, and also before we get started, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you have not done it already, and leave a comment down below if there's anything which I have missed, or is there anything that you are interested in and that you would like to see me do next. So yeah, let's get started. So guys, first things first, don't forget you're gonna need your pins, your fabric scissors, your paper scissors, and most importantly, your sewing machine and your fabric. Now, aside from that, the only other things which you will need is the paper roll, which, as I always say, this is actually something I bought from IKEA from the kids section, and it was very cheap. I believe it was like £5, and I use it to make my patterns. This is the easiest and cheapest way to do it without having to pay for like full pattern paper, which is much more costly per meter. Also, excuse me, at the moment I'm a bit sick and I'm just trying to make it through and survive. So first things first, when you're making your gloves, you're going to need to trace your hands, which is exactly what I have done. I have just put my hand on the paper and spread my hand and just traced it all around my fingers as well as my arms up to where I want the gloves to stop. I will then proceed to actually add a bit around the thumb. Reason is we need to give it some space to allow you to kind of put your hand through and to also maneuver your thumb area, or else you're kind of going to be a bit stuck. And then you're going to take your pattern master, which again, this is something I will link down below, as I know some people struggle to find it online. I actually bought it from Amazon, but I will link it below because it's very easy to get confused and buy the wrong one. I always use the metric system, but I know some people use the inches and so on, so I'll leave those down below for you to have a look and for you to get as well. So what you'll need to do is essentially go all the way around and give it 1 centimeter seam allowance, so that when you're sewing you give yourself enough space. Also allows you for space to make mistakes and to kind of make it thinner or thicker on your fingers. Surely one thing I have learned from making this video is that when you're doing things around your hands, it's very easy to make it too small, so make sure you give yourself a bit of more leeway, especially because you can always cut it later, but if you do it too small the first time, you have to do it again and again and again. So next thing is to essentially cut around it with your scissors. Again, don't forget to separate between your paper scissors and your fabric scissors so that you don't ruin the scissors. This is a mistake I've made in the past, where I've actually used my fabric scissors to cut my paper and then it's made them bland, and then it's not possible for it to cut the paper. Then you have to get them sharpened, etc., or buy new ones, so please make sure you don't make that mistake. Also guys, please make sure that whilst you're watching, leave a comment down below if there's anything that you see in the video, or any ideas you might come up with that you might want me to do in the future. So please make sure you do leave a comment down below, and I will do whatever you guys request as soon as possible, because I would rather make things that you guys want me to do rather than try and guess what you want me to do. So literally any requests and I'll make it happen for you. So the next step is for you to get your Tule fabric, and by the way, I'm using Tule because that's very common right now, but this video applies to any gloves that use any kind of non-stretchy thin fabric. So any glove that's in that kind of format, you can use this video for. But if you're going to do stretchy gloves, I would advise you go and watch my other video, which I have linked on the screen and also in the description as well. And if you want something for like winter gloves, I will be making a video in the future soon, before the end of this year, on how to do those as well, so that you guys can have that as well. Now, please make sure that when you're cutting around the sleeves, you're making, around the fingers, you're kind of making sure that you are not cutting more than you should and you're going around it. I know it's quite hard for you to do that sometimes, but you need to kind of hold it with your fingers, put some pins on it, and just ensure that it's all kind of in format. Yeah. So, proceeding, let's just take out these pins and see how it looks like. As you can see, it's pretty simple. It's just your hand, very easy to do. You're going to cut it, and you're going to cut it 4 times. So you're going to cut it twice in one direction and twice in the other, especially if you're using fabrics which have 2 sides. On this fabric you don't really have different sides, so you can kind of just move on with it. And then we're going to do pin it together, and you're going to take it to your sewing machine. I'm leaving it with a 2, so I have from 1 to 5, and I'm leaving it on the 2 size when I'm sewing it on my sewing machine. And I'm just going to going through and around the hand and ensuring that I go 1 centimeter away from the edge at all times. At this stage, I did realize I made a major mistake, which was I actually did not give enough space for my arm, which has made everything so difficult. So, how did I solutionize it? Well, I actually made the same mistake twice. I made the fingers longer and better, and then I realized, no, this is still not right. So I devised and I figured out what the main issue was, which was the space around my arms was not big enough to put my hand through to be able to get to the fingers. So the fingers are okay, but the arm was not okay. My solution to this was to start all the way back from 0. So I'm actually going to be using the same pattern that I made for my hand, so I don't have to redo it again. But this is to show you guys that even I make mistakes sometimes, and I just need to make sure that I teach you guys the best solutions and how to avoid them as well. So I retraced the same pattern again. I put everything together and I realized what my mistakes were. So one of them was around the arm, as I said before. So I have made this wider enough to actually be able to sew it all around my hand. And I figured this out by how much it was kind of missing when I tried to kind of put the other one around my arm. And the next thing I realized was that the fingers have to be cut all the way in so that it goes all the way around the finger and allows for you to be able to actually maneuver. And I've done it once again and I finally got it right. So the fingers were long enough and the sleeve was wide enough as well, as you can see. Now I can easily put my hand through and I can put my fingers through all the way to the very end without any issues. Now there's one thing I also criticize about myself at this stage of the video, and that is that I've actually thought that, you know, I'm gonna leave the seam allowance in, but I actually would say if I ever were to do this again, I would actually go in and I will cut a little bit more away from my seam allowance on the edges just so it doesn't show, because especially on Tule you can see every single thing that's on the inside and I don't really like that as much. But it shows you that, you know, there's things that you can always improve on. So that's definitely something I would do. And as you can see, I managed to finally make the Tule glove for you guys, and that's your tutorial. So essentially what you need to do is trace your hand, allow extra space for your hand to fit through as well, so give yourself about an extra 6 centimeters from your original drawing all the way up to where your thumb is, and then you'll be able to make these gloves again. You can use different types of Tule which are thicker, thinner, more compact. And if again you want to see a different type of fabric being used on how to make a sleeve, leave it down below in the comments and I will make it for you. And that's my glove for you guys, just so you can see. I would say again, there's things that I could still improve on, but at least this way you make sure that it's a glove that you can fit in, and you can make this for a party or anywhere where you're going where you need some sort of like fancy gloves, and you can use this tutorial on how to make it. Very simple, step by step, and in the future you'll make sure that you're a pro and you can do it again and again however you want. This is a very simple part. Again, there's people that will extend the gloves all the way to the higher part of your arm or even add things like extra ruffles on the ends to make it more dramatic. So there's plenty of things that you can experiment with when making gloves, but this is the bare minimum, the basics, and it teaches you how to make the basic part, which is the most difficult one to get right. And once you make that first one, you can make whatever you want. And that's it, guys. So as you can see, when I've taken off the glove, this is how it looks like. Doesn't look the best because I've not finished on the edges, but again, I would cut back the extra seam allowance, probably do some edging on the end, do like a folded seam, and that's how I would finalize this. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye! Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Bye!